This video has been re-uploaded after a few adjustments. Thank you for your patience. I'll put an explanation in a pinned comment.
The WWE, yes, World Wrestling Entertainment, had its own drop tower ride. Was it a success? Well, no. But what exactly was this ride and why was it built? Let's take a look at the history of the Piledriver ride right here on Theme Park Crazy. The world of professional wrestling can be pretty bizarre. To be clear, while the outcomes of its matches are predetermined, the profession still involves real feats of athleticism and bodily endurance. Nevertheless, the WWE has seen its fair share of unusual, head-scratching moments both in and outside of the ring. This is especially the case when it comes to merchandise. Over the years, the company has expanded its branding beyond its shows. There were video games, movies, ice cream bars, bad movies, waffle makers, worse movies, talking soap, and unwatchable movies. Branding was, and still is, everything for the company. And at one point, they started looking into brick-and-mortar facilities to market. In 1999, WWE, then known as World Wrestling Federation or WWF, opened a themed restaurant called WWF New York in Manhattan's Times Square. The location had multiple floors, which included a retail store, a nightclub, an arcade, and of course, the restaurant. Inside the venue, the company would screen their pay-per-views, as well as their television shows Raw and SmackDown. Initially, the venue drew major attention from wrestling fans not just in the New York metropolitan area, but the rest of the world as well. Shortly after the WWF changed its name to WWE in 2002, the location's name was changed to The World in an effort to attract more people than just wrestling fans. Meanwhile, across the northern border, another entertainment venue would open to the public. Interested in further expanding their brand, WWE partnered up with Canadian Niagara Hotels Incorporated, a major Canadian tourism company. This company would license WWE's branding and open up a new venue inspired by the New York location. This location, known as WWE Niagara Falls, was planned to open within Ontario's Clifton Hill Promenade. For those unaware of this location, the best way to describe Clifton Hill is like a Canadian pigeon forge. Here you can find numerous gift shops, wax museums, arcades, and other attractions. There's even a roller coaster on top of a Burger King, which I will make a short on soon. Anyways, WWE's new location was set to be built across the street from the Movieland Wax Museum of the Stars. It's worth noting that while a restaurant was supposedly considered in the early stages of development, officials didn't want to compete with the Rainforest Cafe, which was right next door, so the plans were nixed. In 2002, the location was first announced at WWE Fan Access, a major fan event for WrestleMania 18, which was being held in Toronto that year. Months of planning and construction later, WWE Niagara Falls made its debut to the public in July 2002. Opening day saw huge crowds of wrestling fans in attendance. WWE Canada President Carl DeMarco would even claim that, quote, "We have fans taking their bikes, riding 12 hours all the way from Toronto, getting here at 3 in the morning, and camping out overnight here." It's unknown how accurate this claim is, but that's quite a long bike ride. Also attending the grand opening were WWE stars Trish Stratus and Val Venus, who would participate in an autograph signing. Upon approaching the building, guests would be met with cement handprints from several WWE stars. A large title belt also hung above the entrance. The interior was a 4,000 square foot retail facility, packed to the gills with WWE merchandise. This place had everything: action figures, title belts, DVDs, hats, all at horribly inflated prices. In fact, a DVD of The Rock, which was said to cost around $25 at Walmart at the time, was priced at $59.99. That's over double the price. Bob Chapek, eat your heart out. Aside from horrifically overpriced merchandise, the venue also featured the reason you clicked on this video in the first place. The second floor of this complex had something much more thrilling and notable. This was a large drop tower attraction named the Piledriver. This ride was a Z-Force model built by Italian manufacturer Zamperla and was the first of its kind built in North America. As for the ride's name, it was named after an insanely dangerous wrestling move. The Piledriver involves lifting your opponent upside down, putting their head between your legs, and forcefully sitting down, appearing to slam their head into the mat. This move requires exact precision to get right. A person's head being too far down can result in a catastrophic injury. This has unfortunately happened a few times in real life. In fact, this move is so dangerous that it was banned by WWE themselves after an incident where the late Owen Hart broke Stone Cold Steve Austin's neck and took years off of his career. Although a safer variation of the move was allowed to be performed by The Undertaker and Knox County, Tennessee Mayor Glenn Jacobs, the move in general is widely frowned upon. Luckily though, the Piledriver in Niagara Falls was infinitely safer. The ride experience shot riders 200 feet upwards, giving them a stunning view of Niagara Falls before dropping them back down. This ride, while certainly thrilling, wasn't exactly successful on opening day. This was due to bad weather closing it down for most of the day. It did operate on that day, but not often. Imagine riding your bike for 12 hours and camping overnight just for bad weather to shut the ride down. Weather aside, the tower soon faced another issue. Just days after opening, the ride was shut down by Ontario's Technical Safety and Standards Authority. Apparently, the attraction was operating without a permit. Paperwork was reportedly submitted in July, but there was said to be a processing error. As such, the facility was not fined for operating without a permit, which was fortunate as the fine was said to be pretty hefty. Unfortunately, because of the error, the ride wouldn't reopen until the summer of 2003. Funnily enough, WWE's New York location had closed by then. This was due to then CEO Linda McMahon electing to close it so the company could focus more on its global efforts. As for WWE Niagara Falls, it continued to operate through the 2000s. Over the years, several WWE stars would show up for autograph signings while performing in the area. The venue even hosted a barbecue event with legendary commentator Jim Ross. Aside from these though, WWE Niagara Falls generated little interest from the general public. The merchandise inside soon became outdated, and the high prices were often a source of criticism. The Piledriver ride would only operate sporadically in the busy tourist seasons, and even then, it was rare to see all the seats filled. As WrestleCrap.com put it, when I was there, in the middle of summer mind you, there was like no one riding it. Trying to get a shot of anyone else doing it was few and far between. After waiting around an hour or so, two guys did head up for a spin. Just look at these two members of the WWE Universe, no doubt thrilled to go on a trip of a lifetime. Why, if they looked any more excited, I'd think they just watched a 3-hour Raw. Tourists in the area simply weren't that interested in a WWE store, even with the thrill ride on top. Interestingly enough, this lack of interest led to some of the merchandise becoming hot collectible items over the years. This was especially the case for the exclusive title belt sold there, which was said to fetch hundreds of dollars on eBay. It may have been overpriced, but if you have a time machine, you should definitely go back and buy as many of them as you can. As time went on, the location failed to generate a substantial profit, and on top of paying the licensing fee to WWE, running the venue proved to be an arduous task for Canadian Niagara hotels. Funnily enough, this store was not a financial loss for the WWE itself. They weren't the ones operating it. Plus, they were able to generate consistent licensing fees from Canadian Niagara hotels. As the 2000s became the 2010s, interest continued to decline. The last autograph signing was held in 2009 with Gail Kim and Evan Bourne, and in 2011, the WWE branding was removed. Afterwards, the store was just a generic wrestling store. It did still sell WWE merchandise, but the loss of its branding caused even less people to be interested in it. Soon enough, the Piledriver would cease operation. Initially, officials planned to reopen the ride in 2012, and they had even planned to modify it to improve operations. On the contrary, this ride never reopened, and the facility was soon gutted and replaced with the Niagara Brewing Company in 2015. This microbrewery features local Canadian beers, as well as a restaurant that serves pub items like pretzels, chips and guacamole, and the Big Daddy Burger. So yes, WWE's brick-and-mortar ventures started and ended with a restaurant. As for the drop tower, it was relocated to Magic Land in Amman, Jordan, where it continues to operate today. Unfortunately, photos and video of this ride are rare, so if you plan on going to Jordan, feel free to take some pics for your Instagram page. WWE Niagara Falls was a misguided attempt at marketing off of wrestling fans. Since then, no attempt has been made to make WWE-themed attractions. Though to call this a themed attraction is a bit of a stretch, as they literally just plastered their logo on a drop tower. It's unknown if the company will try to enter the theme park market anytime soon. There was a story a while back about WWE bringing a theme park to Orlando, but nothing has really come out of that. For now, it looks like the amusement industry is one field that WWE would rather stay out of. On that note, what are some of your ideas for WWE attractions? Feel free to comment down below. And speaking of comments, and now it's time for the comment shoutout program. This is where I take 5 random comments from my previous video and read them out. These comments are from my failed coasters video on Lightning Rod at Dollywood. Rob T says, I drove 9 hours to ride that coaster 2 years ago. It was broke down, but it got up and running 20 minutes later. I was one of the first in line, lol. Coma6X says, 2019, while it was still fully wood, it had its best season. Was closed less often than Mystery Mine and actually operated every scheduled day. Kfix says, I wonder if they could have just made the structure steel instead of the rails, as that way it can stay the world's first launch wooden coaster. Jan McGuire says, great video. It sounds like Lightning Rod has been a learning experience for all involved. I hope they continue to improve the coaster's performance and reliability. Thank you, Jan. And the Fun Guy says, love the intro. Thanks, Fun Guy. If you want to see your words in my next video, leave a comment down below and it may be selected. Please note though that inflammatory or spam comments will not be read.
Thank you all so much, and if you want to support me on Patreon, you can do so once again at the link in the description.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me on social media on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or you can check out my website at themeparkcrazy.com. And I'm on TikTok. This is Theme Park Crazy, and I'll see you all next time.